First contact. The vastness of space stretched out before Captain Sarah Chen as she gazed through the main viewport of the UES Pathfinder. Countless stars twinkled against the inky blackness, each one a potential harbor for undiscovered worlds and civilizations. After years of pushing the boundaries of human exploration, Sarah couldn't shake the feeling that today might be different. Captain, long-range sensors are picking up an anomaly. Lieutenant Rajesh Patel called out from his station, his voice tinged with excitement. It's faint, but it doesn't match any known natural phenomena in our database. Sarah's heart raced as she strode over to Rajesh's console. "Show me," she commanded, leaning in to study the readouts. The anomaly pulsed with an irregular rhythm, almost like a heartbeat. Could it be a signal? Rajesh's fingers danced across the controls, refining the sensor data. "It's possible, Captain. The pattern is too regular to be random space noise, but it's unlike any communication protocol we've encountered before." A hush fell over the bridge as the implications sank in. They might be on the verge of humanity's first contact with an alien civilization. Sarah took a deep breath, steadying herself before addressing her crew. "Ladies and gentlemen, this could be the moment we've all been training for," she announced, her voice calm but filled with determination. "Let's approach with caution, but remember why we're out here. Humanity has dreamed of this day for centuries." As the Pathfinder altered course to investigate the signal, Sarah couldn't help but reflect on the journey that had brought them to this point. The ship represented the pinnacle of human ingenuity, a fusion-powered marvel capable of sustaining its crew for years as they pushed deeper into the unknown. Its mission was one of peaceful exploration, but Sarah knew that first contact situations were inherently unpredictable. Hours passed as they closed in on the source of the signal. The tension on the bridge was palpable, with each crew member acutely aware of their role in this historic moment. Finally, as they entered a previously uncharted star system, they saw it. "My God," whispered Commander Elena Volkov, the ship's XO. "Is that what I think it is?" Floating against the backdrop of a pale blue gas giant was an unmistakably artificial structure. Its sleek, curved design was unlike anything produced by human hands, its surface shimmering with an iridescent glow that seemed to pulse in time with the signal they had detected. "It appears to be a ship," Sarah confirmed, her voice steady despite the adrenaline coursing through her veins. "And it looks like it's in trouble." As they drew closer, the damage became apparent. One section of the alien vessel was scarred and torn, venting a trail of glittering particles into space. The signal they had detected was clearly a distress call. "Life signs?" Sarah asked, turning to Dr. Aisha Okafor, the ship's chief medical officer and xenobiologist. Aisha studied her readings intently before responding. "It's hard to be certain, Captain. Their biology could be radically different from our own, but I'm detecting some form of energy signature that could indicate a living organism. It's weak, though, and fading." Sarah nodded, her decision already made. "Prep a boarding team. Full containment protocols. We're going over there." As her crew scrambled to prepare, Sarah felt the weight of responsibility settling on her shoulders. The fate of two civilizations might hinge on what happened in the next few hours. But isn't this exactly why they had ventured so far from home? To reach out, to understand, to help if they could. The boarding shuttle detached from the Pathfinder, carrying Sarah, Aisha, and a small team of specialists. As they approached the alien vessel, Sarah marveled at its otherworldly beauty. Despite the damage, there was an elegance to its design that spoke of an advanced civilization. "Look there," Aisha pointed out as they neared what appeared to be an airlock. "Those markings, they're changing." Indeed, symbols were shifting and flowing across the ship's hull, as if responding to their presence. Suddenly, with a soft humming sound, the airlock began to open. "It's inviting us in," Sarah realized aloud. She took a deep breath, steeling herself for whatever they might find inside. "All right, team, this is it. Remember your training, stay alert, but above all, we're here as friends and helpers. Let's make humanity proud." As they stepped into the alien ship, Sarah's mind raced with possibilities. What kind of beings would they encounter? What secrets and wonders might this vessel hold? And most importantly, could they save whoever had sent out that desperate call for help? The interior of the ship was a marvel of biomechanical engineering. Corridors seemed to shift and breathe, lined with pulsing conduits that glowed with an inner light. The air was breathable, though tinged with an unfamiliar scent that tickled Sarah's nose. "This way," Aisha indicated, following the readings on her scanner. "The life sign is getting stronger." They made their way deeper into the ship, marveling at the alien technology surrounding them. Strange devices hummed and pulsed, their purposes a mystery. Finally, they reached what appeared to be a control center. There, slumped over a console, was a being unlike anything Sarah had ever seen. Its body was vaguely humanoid, but covered in iridescent scales that shifted color with each labored breath. Multiple limbs splayed out at odd angles, and what Sarah assumed was its head bore several eye-like organs that slowly blinked open as they approached. "Hello," Sarah said softly, holding up her empty hands in what she hoped was a universal gesture of peace. "We're here to help." The alien's eyes focused on her, and suddenly Sarah's mind was flooded with a cascade of images and emotions: fear, pain, gratitude, and an overwhelming sense of urgency washed over her. She staggered back, gasping. "Captain," Aisha steadied her, concern etched on her face. "I'm all right," Sarah assured her, shaking her head to clear it. I think it was trying to communicate." The alien struggled to rise, its limbs trembling with the effort. Sarah approached carefully, offering support. As she touched the being's scales, another wave of communication hit her, but this time she was more prepared. "Danger, pursued, must warn." "It's trying to tell us something," Sarah relayed to her team. "I think it's being chased by something dangerous." As if in response to her words, alarms began blaring throughout the ship. On a nearby display, Sarah saw multiple contacts appearing at the edge of the system. "We need to get it back to the Pathfinder," she decided quickly. "Aisha, can we move it safely?" The doctor nodded, already preparing a mobile stasis unit. "It's risky, but leaving it here would be riskier." With gentle care, they transferred the alien into the stasis pod. As they rushed back to their shuttle, Sarah's mind raced. They had come seeking first contact, and now found themselves in the middle of what could be an interstellar conflict. As the shuttle docked with the Pathfinder, Sarah knew that the real challenge was just beginning. They had an injured alien on board, unknown hostiles approaching, and the fate of two civilizations potentially hanging in the balance. "All hands, battle stations," she ordered as she stepped onto the bridge. "And get me a secure channel to Earth Command. We've made first contact, and we're going to need backup." The stars outside seemed to blur as the Pathfinder's engines roared to life. Whatever came next, Sarah knew that humanity's place in the galaxy would never be the same. The adventure, and the real test of human ingenuity and compassion, was just beginning. Unlikely allies. The Pathfinder hummed with tension as Captain Sarah Chen stood before the sealed medbay doors. Behind them lay the injured alien they had rescued, a being that represented humanity's first contact with an extraterrestrial intelligence. Dr. Aisha Okafor emerged, her face etched with a mixture of exhaustion and wonder. "How is our guest?" Sarah asked, her voice low. Aisha shook her head in amazement. "Stable, but, Captain, its physiology is unlike anything I've ever seen. Its cellular structure is constantly shifting, adapting. It's as if its entire body is one giant immune system." Sarah nodded, processing the information, and communication. "Limited," Aisha admitted, "but improving. It seems to be learning our language at an astonishing rate. I think it's ready to speak with you." Taking a deep breath, Sarah stepped into the med bay. The alien lay on a modified biobed, its iridescent scales shimmering under the soft lights. As Sarah approached, its multiple eyes focused on her, and she felt a gentle prod at the edges of her consciousness. "Hello," Sarah said softly. "I'm Captain Sarah Chen. Can you understand me?" The alien's body rippled, and a voice that seemed to bypass her ears and speak directly to her mind responded. "Understand, yes. Gratitude, immense. I am Zaxelor." Sarah smiled, feeling a surge of excitement and relief. "Zaxelor, welcome aboard the UES Pathfinder. We're glad we were able to help you. Can you tell us what happened? Who is pursuing you?" Zaxelor's form shuddered, and a wave of fear and urgency washed over Sarah. "The Voidborn, ancient enemy, seek to consume all life. My people warned your sector. Voidborn followed." Sarah's blood ran cold. "Are you saying there's an imminent threat to Earth, to this entire sector of space?" "Yes," Zaxelor confirmed, its mental voice tinged with regret. "My ship, Scout, detected Voidborn fleet, tried to warn, was attacked." The implications were staggering. Humanity had just made first contact, only to learn they were on the brink of an interstellar war with an unknown, apparently hostile species. "Captain," Lieutenant Patel's voice came urgently over the comm. "Multiple contacts just dropped out of FTL at the edge of the system. They don't match any known configurations." Sarah's mind raced. "Zaxelor, are these the Voidborn?" The alien's body pulsed with an affirmative. "They come to silence, to consume, your ship in danger." Making a split-second decision, Sarah tapped her comm badge. "All hands, battle stations. Helm, plot an evasive course. We need to buy time." Turning back to Zaxelor, Sarah's voice was firm but kind. "We'll protect you, but we need your help. Any information you can give us about the Voidborn's capabilities could save lives." Zaxelor's form shifted, and suddenly a holographic display sprang to life above the biobed. It showed schematics of the Voidborn ships, highlighting weapon systems and potential weaknesses. "Impressive," Sarah breathed. "Can all your people do this?" "Biotech, symbiosis," Zaxelor explained. "Ship extension of self, can interface with your systems, help fight." Sarah hesitated only for a moment. The threat they faced was unknown, and trusting an alien they'd just met with access to their systems was risky. But something in Zaxelor's earnest communication convinced her. "All right," she nodded. "Dr. Okafor, work with Zaxelor to establish a safe interface with our systems. I need to get to the bridge." As Sarah rushed through the corridors, the ship rocked with the first impacts of enemy fire. Reaching the bridge, she took in the tactical display with a grim expression. The Voidborn ships were unlike anything they had encountered, organic-looking vessels that seemed to absorb energy weapons and regenerate damage. "Conventional weapons aren't having much effect, Captain," Commander Volkov reported. Sarah's mind raced, recalling the schematics Zaxelor had shown her. Target the nodes between their bow and midship sections. That seems to be a weak point in their bio-armor. The Pathfinder's phasers lanced out, striking precisely where Sarah had indicated. One of the Voidborn ships spasmed, dark ichor spilling from the wound. "It's working," Volkov exclaimed. "But there are too many of them. We can't hold them off forever." Suddenly, new information flooded the tactical displays. Zaxelor's consciousness seemed to merge with the ship's systems, providing real-time analysis and predictions of Voidborn movements. "Incredible," Lieutenant Patel murmured. "It's like having a quantum AI integrated into our systems." With Zaxelor's help, the Pathfinder danced through space, evading the worst of the Voidborn assault while landing precision strikes on their vulnerabilities. But Sarah knew they were still outgunned and outnumbered. "We need to retreat," she decided. "Plot a course back to Earth. We have to warn them." As the Pathfinder's engines rolled to life, preparing for the jump to FTL, Zaxelor's voice echoed through the ship's systems. "Wait, detected. Reinforcements, my people. Coming." True to Zaxelor's word, space suddenly warped as a fleet of sleek, bioorganic ships similar to Zaxelor's original vessel dropped out of FTL. They immediately engaged the Voidborn, their advanced weapons tearing through the enemy ships with ruthless efficiency. "This is Ambassador Vexara of the Luminary Conclave." A new voice transmission echoed across the bridge. "UES Pathfinder, we thank you for saving our scout. Please, join us in driving back this Voidborn incursion." Sarah felt a surge of pride and determination. "Acknowledged Ambassador. The UES Pathfinder stands ready to assist." What followed was a battle unlike anything in human history. The Pathfinder, guided by Zaxelor's intimate knowledge of both allied and enemy capabilities, became the linchpin of a joint human-luminary assault. Human ingenuity and adaptability combined with luminary biotech created strategies that caught the Voidborn off guard. Hours later, as the last Voidborn ship retreated into the depths of space, Sarah allowed herself a moment of relief. They had won this battle, but she knew the war was far from over. "Captain," Zaxelor's voice came through the comm, stronger now. "My people wish to formally open diplomatic relations. Earth must be warned, prepared." Sarah nodded, the weight of responsibility settling on her shoulders. "Agreed. Helm, set a course for Earth. We have a lot of work to do." As the Pathfinder turned towards home, escorted by their new luminary allies, Sarah knew that the universe had changed forever. Humanity had taken its first steps into a larger, more dangerous, but also more wondrous galaxy. And she, along with her crew and their unlikely new alien allies, would be at the forefront of shaping this new era. The journey back to Earth would be tense, filled with preparations and strategy sessions. But as Sarah looked out at the stars, now filled with both promise and peril, she felt a sense of hope. Humanity had proven its worth in its first extraterrestrial encounter. Whatever challenges lay ahead, they would face them together, with new friends by their side. Race against time. The UES Pathfinder streaked through space, pushing its engines to the limit as it raced back to Earth. Captain Sarah Chen stood on the bridge, her eyes fixed on the swirling vortex of FTL travel visible through the main viewport. The knowledge they carried was too vital, too urgent to risk any delay. "ETA to Earth, Lieutenant Patel?" Sarah asked, her voice tense. "Approximately 18 hours at current speed, Captain," Rajesh replied. "The luminary ships are keeping pace with us, but their bio-organic drives seem to be handling the strain better than ours." Sarah nodded, a mix of pride and concern washing over her. The Pathfinder was the pinnacle of human engineering, but this extended period at maximum warp was pushing it to its limits. They needed to reach Earth to warn them of the Voidborn threat, but they also needed to arrive with a functioning ship. "Captain," Commander Volkov called out, her voice urgent. "We're detecting some instability in the warp field. If we maintain this speed, we risk a catastrophic drive failure." Sarah's mind raced, weighing their options. Every minute could count in preparing Earth's defenses, but arriving in a crippled ship would help no one. She was about to order a reduction in speed when Zaxelor's voice echoed through the ship's systems. "Captain Chen," the alien's thoughts resonated clearly now, strengthened by its link with the ship. "My people offer assistance. Our biotech can stabilize your warp field, extend your range." Sarah hesitated for only a moment. Their alliance was new, born of necessity, but Zaxelor had already proven trustworthy in battle. "What do you need from us, Zaxelor?" "Permission to interface more deeply with your systems," Zaxelor replied. "Temporary symbiosis will not harm ship or crew." After a quick consultation with her senior staff, Sarah made her decision. "Do it, Zaxelor. We're trusting you." What followed was unlike anything the crew had ever experienced. Through the ship's sensors, they watched in awe as tendrils of glowing organic material extended from the luminary ships, gently enveloping the Pathfinder. The ship shuddered momentarily, and then a wave of energy pulsed through its systems. "Warp field stabilizing," Rajesh reported, his voice filled with wonder. power efficiency up by 27%. At this rate, we can maintain maximum warp and still arrive with reserves to spare. Sarah felt a surge of hope. Well done, Zaxilor, and please convey our thanks to your people. As they continued their journey, Sarah used the time to prepare. She coordinated with Earth's defense forces, sending ahead encrypted data packets containing everything they had learned about the Voidborn. She also worked closely with Ambassador Vexara, laying the groundwork for humanity's first official diplomatic relations with an alien species. Hours passed in a blur of activity. The crew of the Pathfinder, along with their luminary allies, worked tirelessly to compile all the information they had on the Voidborn threat. Tactical analyses, biological data, and strategic recommendations were all meticulously prepared. As they approached the Sol system, Sarah gathered her senior staff for a final briefing. The mood was tense but determined. "We're about to change the course of human history," Sarah began, looking each of her officers in the eye. "What we've learned, what we've experienced, it's going to reshape our entire civilization. But we don't have the luxury of time for a gradual adjustment. The Voidborn are coming, and we need to be ready." Commander Volkov spoke up, her voice steady. "How do we convince the planetary governments to unite? They've been squabbling for centuries." "We show them the truth," Sarah replied firmly. "The sensor logs, the battle footage, and we introduce them to Zaxilor and the luminaries. Nothing unites people like a common threat or a new friend." Dr. Okafor, who had been working closely with Zaxilor, added her perspective. "The luminary biotechnology could revolutionize our defenses. If we can adapt even a fraction of it to our systems, we'll have a fighting chance against the Voidborn." As they discussed final preparations, an alert sounded from the tactical station. Lieutenant Commander Hiroshi Tanaka's face paled as he read the incoming data. "Captain," he said, his voice tight. "Long-range sensors are picking up a massive energy surge at the edge of the system. It matches the signature of the Voidborn fleet, but it's at least 10 times larger than what we encountered before." A heavy silence fell over the bridge. They had hoped for more time, for a chance to prepare Earth properly, but it seemed the enemy had other plans. Sarah's voice cut through the tension, filled with determination. "All right, people, this is what we've been preparing for. Tanaka, alert Earth Defense Command. Patel, push those engines to the limit. We need to reach Earth now. Volkov, coordinate with the luminary fleet. We're going to need every ship, every weapon we can muster." As the Pathfinder and its alien escorts burst into normal space near Earth, Sarah felt the weight of history on her shoulders. Through the viewport, she could see the beautiful blue marble of humanity's homeworld, and beyond it, the first faint signs of the approaching Voidborn armada. "Open a channel to Earth Defense Command," Sarah ordered, squaring her shoulders, "and prepare to transmit all data on the Voidborn threat." As the face of Earth's highest-ranking military official appeared on screen, Sarah took a deep breath. The next few minutes would determine the fate of her species. "General," she began, her voice steady and clear. "I'm Captain Sarah Chen of the UES Pathfinder. We've made first contact with an alien species, forged an alliance, and now we bring warning of an imminent threat to Earth. We don't have much time, but if we act now, together with our new allies, we have a chance to defend our world." The general's eyes widened as he absorbed Sarah's words and the data flooding his systems. After a moment that felt like an eternity, he nodded grimly. "Understood, Captain Chen. You've done well. Now, let's hear your plan. How do we save Earth?" As Sarah began outlining their strategy, merging human determination with luminary biotech and all they had learned about the Voidborn, she felt a glimmer of hope. The odds were against them, the enemy vast and terrible, but humanity had proven its worth among the stars. Whatever came next, they would face it united, with each other and with their new allies. The race against time had led them here, to the brink of Earth's greatest challenge. Now, the real battle was about to begin. Battle in the void. The skies above Earth churned with activity as humanity's combined fleet, hastily assembled from every nation's space forces, took up defensive positions. Alongside them, the sleek bio-organic ships of the luminary conclave moved into formation, their alien designs a stark contrast to the angular human vessels. Aboard the UES Pathfinder, now serving as the command center for this unprecedented joint operation, Captain Sarah Chen surveyed the tactical display with a mixture of pride and apprehension. In the few short hours since their return, Earth's leaders had managed to set aside their differences in the face of this existential threat. "Status report," Sarah commanded, her voice steady despite the tension that gripped everyone on the bridge. Commander Volkov responded promptly. "Earth's planetary defense grid is at full power. The luminaries have integrated their shielding technology with our satellite network, increasing coverage by 60%. All ships report ready for combat." Sarah nodded, then turned to where Zaxxil's holographic form hovered nearby. "Any update on the Voidborn's approach?" The alien's form shimmered as it interfaced directly with the ship's sensors. "Voidborn fleet, entering outer system now. Numbers, vast. But we detect hesitation. Your world's defenses, stronger than anticipated." A grim smile played across Sarah's lips. The element of surprise was one of the few advantages they had. "Good. Let's make them regret coming here." As if on cue, the first wave of Voidborn ships emerged from the darkness of space, their organic forms writhing and pulsing with malevolent energy. The sight sent a chill down Sarah's spine, but she steeled herself for what was to come. "All ships, this is Captain Chen," she broadcast to the combined fleet. "Remember your training. Remember what we're fighting for. Earth is counting on us. Engage at will and good hunting." The void erupted in a dazzling display of weapons fire. Human railguns and energy weapons crisscrossed space alongside the more exotic armaments of the luminary ships. The Voidborn responded in kind, tendrils of dark energy lashing out to tear through shields and hulls alike. From her position on the Pathfinder, Sarah coordinated the defense, relying heavily on the real-time data provided by Zaxxil's link with their systems. The aliens' ability to predict Voidborn tactics proved invaluable, allowing them to stay one step ahead of the enemy's movements. "Sector 7 is taking heavy fire," Lieutenant Patel called out. "Voidborn concentrating their assault there." Sarah's mind raced, analyzing the tactical situation. They're probing for weaknesses, redirect the 3rd and 5th fighter wings to reinforce Sector 7, and have the luminary cruisers move to flank the Voidborn formation. The battle raged on, a chaotic dance of destruction and valor. Human ingenuity paired with luminary biotech created unexpected synergies. Earth fighters, newly equipped with organic repair modules, displayed unprecedented durability. Luminary ships, guided by human tactical algorithms, executed maneuvers that caught the Voidborn off guard. But the enemy's numbers seemed endless. For every Voidborn ship destroyed, 2 more seemed to take its place. The defensive line began to buckle under the relentless assault. "Captain," Commander Volkov's voice was tense, "we can't hold them much longer. Our losses are mounting." Sarah's hands gripped the arms of her command chair, her mind racing for a solution. That's when Zaxxil's voice cut through the chaos. "Captain Chen, I have an idea. Risky, but potential to turn tide." "I'm all ears, Zaxxil," Sarah replied, hope mingling with desperation in her voice. The alien's form pulsed with excitement. "Voidborn ships, linked by hive mind. If we can disrupt central node, may disorient entire fleet." "How do we find this central node?" Sarah asked, leaning forward intently. "I can locate it," Zaxxil assured her. "But will require direct interface with Voidborn systems. Dangerous. May not survive." Sarah felt a pang of concern for that alien ally, but the stakes were too high to hesitate. "What do you need from us?" "Small team, to infiltrate Voidborn command ship. Plant interface device. I will do the rest. The plan was audacious, bordering on suicidal, but as Sarah looked at the tactical display, watching Earth's defenses crumble bit by bit, she knew they had no choice. I'll lead the team myself, Sarah declared, standing up from her chair. Commander Volkov immediately protested, Captain, you can't. I can and I will, Sarah cut her off firmly. This is too important to delegate. Volkov, you have command of the Pathfinder. Keep the fleet together until we complete our mission. As Sarah prepared for the most dangerous mission of her life, she couldn't help but reflect on the journey that had brought her here. From first contact to fighting alongside aliens to defend Earth, it was beyond anything she could have imagined. The infiltration team, consisting of Sarah, Dr. Okafor, and two of the ship's most skilled tactical officers, boarded a specially modified shuttle. Its hull had been coated with a luminary-derived camouflage that should, in theory, allow them to slip past the Voidborn's organic sensors. As they launched from the Pathfinder, weaving through the chaos of the battle, Sarah felt a mix of fear and determination. The fate of Earth, perhaps of all organic life in this sector of the galaxy, rested on their success. Remember, Sarah addressed her team as they approached the massive Voidborn command ship. We get in, plant Zaxxilor's device, and get out. Every second counts. The shuttle slipped through a gap in the Voidborn ship's defenses, latching onto its writhing organic hull. With a hiss of equalizing pressure, they stepped into the alien vessel. The interior was a nightmare of pulsing flesh and twisting corridors. The air was thick with an acrid smell that made Sarah's eyes water, but there was no time for hesitation. Guided by Zaxxilor's directions, transmitted through their comm units, they made their way deeper into the ship. They encountered scattered resistance, Voidborn drones that seemed more biological than mechanical, but their element of surprise allowed them to overcome each obstacle. Finally, they reached the central chamber. A massive, pulsating organ dominated the room, tendrils of dark energy radiating outward. That's it, Sarah breathed, her voice filled with a mix of awe and revulsion. Plant the device. Quickly. As Dr. Okafor moved to attach Zaxxilor's interface module to the throbbing mass, alarms began to blare throughout the ship. Their presence had been detected. We're out of time, Sarah shouted over the cacophony. Fall back to the shuttle. Move. They ran through the twisting corridors, the ship itself seeming to come alive around them, trying to trap them within its fleshy walls. Just as they reached their shuttle, a massive tendril of Voidborn energy lashed out, striking Sarah and sending her sprawling. Pain exploded through her body, but Sarah gritted her teeth and pulled herself into the shuttle. As the hatch sealed behind them, she could feel the Voidborn ship's attempts to prevent their escape. Go, 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 she ordered, and the shuttle blasted free, racing back towards the Pathfinder. As they emerged from the Voidborn ship, Sarah's eyes widened at the sight before her. The entire enemy fleet seemed to be spasming, ships colliding with each other as their coordinated movements fell into chaos. It's working, she breathed, allowing herself a moment of hope. Zaxxilor did it. But their celebration was premature. As they watched, the Voidborn began to rally, their movements becoming more erratic, but no less deadly. The battle was far from over. Sarah tapped her comm unit. Pathfinder, this is the captain. We've completed the mission, but we need to press our advantage now. Coordinate with the Luminary fleet. Hit them with everything we've got while they're disorganized. As the shuttle raced back to the Pathfinder, Sarah watched the battle unfold with a mixture of exhaustion and determination. They had struck a significant blow, but the war was far from won. The true test of humanity's resolve, and of their newfound alliance with the Luminaries, was just beginning. Diplomatic dance. The aftermath of the battle hung over Earth like a shroud. Debris from both human and Voidborn ships littered near-Earth orbit, a stark reminder of the cost of their hard-fought victory. The Voidborn fleet had been repelled, but not destroyed. Intelligence suggested they had retreated to the outer reaches of the solar system to regroup. In the United Nations General Assembly Hall, now serving as the impromptu headquarters for Earth's unified defense effort, Captain Sarah Chen stood before a sea of faces. World leaders, military commanders, and scientific experts from every nation had gathered to hear her report and plan their next move. Sarah took a deep breath, acutely aware of the weight of responsibility on her shoulders. "Ladies and gentlemen," she began, her voice steady and clear, "we've won a crucial battle, but the war is far from over. The Voidborn will return, and when they do, they'll be more prepared for our defenses." Murmurs rippled through the crowd. Sarah continued, "However, we have two significant advantages. First, our alliance with the Luminary Conclave has provided us with technology and insights that have already proven invaluable. Second, thanks to the bravery of our alien ally Zaxalor, we've gained crucial intelligence about the Voidborn's weaknesses." As if on cue, a holographic representation of Zaxalor materialized beside Sarah. The alien's presence caused a stir among the assembled leaders, many of whom were seeing a non-human intelligence for the first time. "Greetings, Earth leaders," Zaxalor's thoughts resonated through the hall. "My people, stand ready to assist further." What followed was a tense but productive series of discussions. Sarah, along with Zaxalor and Ambassador Vexara, who had joined them via holographic link from her ship in orbit, laid out a comprehensive plan for Earth's defense and the eventual counteroffensive against the Voidborn. The plan was ambitious. It called for the rapid integration of luminary biotech into Earth's existing defense systems, the establishment of a joint human luminary fleet, and the development of new weapons specifically designed to target Voidborn weaknesses. As the debates raged on, Sarah found herself in the unfamiliar role of diplomat, mediating between different factions and interests. Some nations were eager to embrace the alien technology, while others were more hesitant, fearing a loss of sovereignty or unforeseen consequences. "I understand your concerns," Sarah addressed a particularly vocal group of skeptics. "But we must remember that the Voidborn threat is not just to individual nations, but to all life as we know it. Our survival depends on our ability to set aside our differences and work together, not just as a united Earth, but as part of a larger galactic community." Ambassador Vexara's holographic form nodded in agreement. "The Luminary Conclave does not seek to dominate or control Earth. We offer our knowledge and resources freely in the spirit of mutual defense and cooperation. The Voidborn are a threat to all organic life. Only together can we hope to defeat them." As the hours stretched on, progress was made. Agreements were reached, compromises forged. The foundations of a truly global and interstellar alliance began to take shape. But just as it seemed they were reaching a consensus, an aide rushed into the hall, whispering urgently to the UN Secretary-General. The room fell silent as the Secretary-General stood, her face grave. "We've just received word," she announced, her voice tight with tension. "A Voidborn scout ship has been detected approaching the moon. It's transmitting a message. They want to negotiate." The hall erupted in chaos. Shouts of disbelief, anger, and fear echoed off the walls. Sarah exchanged a concerned glance with Zaxalor, whose form shimmered with agitation. Silence. The Secretary-General's voice cut through the din. "Captain Chen, Ambassador Vexara, what are your thoughts on this development?" Sarah stepped forward, her mind racing. "It could be a trap," she said cautiously. "But if there's even a chance for a diplomatic solution, we have to consider it. The question is, can we trust anything the Voidborn say?" Zaxalor's thoughts pulsed with urgency. "Caution, advised. Voidborn, not known for diplomacy. Likely, seeking advantage." Ambassador Vexara added her perspective. "In all our encounters with the Voidborn, they have never before sought negotiation. This is unprecedented. We must approach with extreme caution, but also curiosity." The debate that followed was intense. Some argued for an immediate military response to destroy the scout ship before it could report back. Others saw this as a unique opportunity to gather intelligence or potentially avoid further bloodshed. In the end, a decision was reached. A small delegation would be sent to meet with the Voidborn representatives. The meeting would take place on neutral ground, a space station in lunar orbit. Sarah, to her mixture of pride and trepidation, was chosen to lead the human contingent. As preparations for the unprecedented diplomatic mission began, Sarah found a quiet moment to confer with Zaxelor and Ambassador Vexara. "What are we walking into?" she asked, not bothering to hide the concern in her voice. Zaxelor's form pulsed thoughtfully. "Unknown territory. For all, Voidborn psychology, alien even to us, but opportunity to learn, to understand." Ambassador Vexara nodded in agreement. This could be a turning point in the conflict, but we must be prepared for any outcome. The Voidborn are cunning and ruthless. We cannot allow a hope for peace to blind us to potential dangers. Sarah took a deep breath, squaring her shoulders. "Understood. We'll go in with open minds, but our guard will be up. The fate of Earth, of all our worlds, could hinge on what happens in that meeting." As she left to make her final preparations, Sarah couldn't help but marvel at the strange twists her life had taken. From explorer to warrior to diplomat, all in the span of a few short weeks. The universe, it seemed, had much larger plans for humanity than anyone had ever imagined. The stage was set for a diplomatic dance unlike any in human history. With the Voidborn awaiting them and the fate of multiple civilizations hanging in the balance, Sarah and her team prepared to step into the unknown once more. A new era dawns. The space station hanging in lunar orbit seemed impossibly small against the vast backdrop of space. Inside, Captain Sarah Chen stood with her unlikely delegation, a mix of human diplomats, military strategists and scientists, alongside Zaxelor and a small contingent of luminary representatives. They waited in tense silence for the arrival of the Voidborn emissaries. Sarah's mind raced with possibilities. What could the Voidborn possibly want? Was this truly an opportunity for peace, or an elaborate trap? She steeled herself, knowing that the next few hours could determine the fate of not just Earth, but potentially all organic life in this sector of the galaxy. A low hum filled the air, and a shimmering portal materialized at the far end of the chamber. Through it stepped 3 Voidborn entities, writhing masses of dark energy barely contained within humanoid forms. The very air seemed to recoil from their presence. "We greet you." The central figure's thoughts reverberated through the minds of all present, its voice a discordant blend of tones that set Sarah's teeth on edge. "We are the Convergence. We speak for the Voidborn Collective." Sarah stepped forward, her voice steady despite her racing heart. "I am Captain Sarah Chen, representing Earth and its allies. We are here to listen and to seek a peaceful resolution to our conflict." What followed was unlike any diplomatic exchange in human history. The Voidborn communication was alien and often incomprehensible, their concepts and motivations so far removed from organic thought that even the advanced translation algorithms struggled to interpret them. Gradually, a chilling picture emerged. The Voidborn weren't conquerors in the traditional sense, they were consumers. They fed on the very essence of organic life, converting it into energy to sustain their ever-expanding collective. Earth and the surrounding systems were simply their next meal. "Your resistance?" "Unexpected," the Voidborn emissary conveyed. "Impressive. We offer alternative. Join us. Transcend organic limitations. Become part of the collective." A wave of revulsion swept through the human and luminary delegates. The offer wasn't one of alliance, but of absorption, the complete annihilation of individual identity and free will. Sarah's voice was firm as she replied, "We appreciate your offer, but our answer is no. Our individuality, our organic nature, these are not limitations to be transcended. They are the very essence of who we are." The Voidborn's form rippled, a gesture Sarah interpreted as frustration or perhaps disappointment. Then conflict, inevitable, We will feed, you will resist. Cycle continues. As the implications of this exchange sank in, Sarah realized that true peace with the Voidborn was impossible. Their very nature, their means of existence, was fundamentally incompatible with organic life. This wasn't a war that could be won through traditional means. It was a fight for the right to exist as they were. With the negotiations clearly at an impasse, the Voidborn delegation prepared to depart. But before they left, the lead emissary transmitted one final chilling thought. We withdraw for now, but we will return, and we will be hungry. As the shimmering portal closed behind the Voidborn, a heavy silence fell over the chamber. The weight of what they had learned, of the existential threat they faced, was almost overwhelming. But as Sarah looked around at her fellow delegates, human and alien alike, she saw not despair, but determination. They have faced the Voidborn, looked into the abyss of cosmic horror, and emerged with their resolve strengthened. In the days that followed, a flurry of activity gripped Earth and its newfound allies. The information gained from the diplomatic encounter, while terrifying, provided crucial insights into Voidborn psychology and motivations. This knowledge would prove invaluable in the coming conflict. A grand coalition began to take shape. Earth's nations, setting aside centuries of rivalry and mistrust, united under a single banner. The Luminary Conclave officially welcomed humanity into its ranks, sharing advanced biotechnology and the secrets of faster-than-light travel. Other alien races, long hesitant to involve themselves in galactic affairs, began to reach out, recognizing the Voidborn as a threat to all organic life. Sarah found herself at the center of this whirlwind of change. Her unique experiences, from first contact to battlefield commander to diplomat, made her an ideal bridge between the various factions of this new alliance. Months passed in a blur of preparation. Massive defense platforms were constructed in orbit around Earth and key colonies. The combined human luminary fleet grew in size and capability, incorporating the best of both civilizations' technologies. New weapons were developed, specifically designed to target Voidborn weaknesses. But perhaps most importantly, a shift occurred in humanity's collective consciousness. The knowledge that they were not alone in the universe, that they were part of a larger cosmic community, sparked a renaissance in art, science, and philosophy. Old divisions began to fade as people embraced their shared identity as citizens of Earth and the galaxy beyond. On the eve of the launch of the first major counteroffensive against the Voidborn, Sarah stood on the bridge of the UES Nova, Earth's most advanced warship and the flagship of the Allied fleet. Beside her was Zaxlor and Ambassador Vexara, now trusted friends and advisors. As she looked out at the assembled armada, a breathtaking mix of human, luminary, and other alien vessels, Sarah felt a swell of pride and hope. The road ahead would be long and fraught with danger. The Voidborn were a formidable enemy, and victory was far from assured. But humanity had proven its worth among the stars. They had faced extinction and emerged stronger, not just surviving but forging new bonds across the cosmos. Whatever challenges lay ahead, they would face them united, with each other and with their new allies. All ships, this is Captain Chen. Sarah broadcast to the fleet, her voice clear and resolute. We embark today, not just to defend our worlds, but to secure a future for all organic life. The Voidborn seek to consume and destroy. We stand for life, for diversity, for the right of all beings to chart their own destiny. She paused, looking at Zaxlor and Vexara, who nodded encouragingly. We go forth not as conquerors, but as guardians, not in hatred, but in defense of all we hold dear. The dawn of a new era is upon us. Let us make it one of hope, of unity, and of triumph over the darkness that threatens us all. As the fleet engaged its faster-than-light drives, preparing to jump into the unknown, Sarah felt a sense of peace settle over her. Whatever the future held, humanity had found its place in the cosmos. They were no longer alone, no longer confined to their small blue planet. The stars beckoned, full of both peril and promise, and humanity, standing shoulder to shoulder with their new alien allies, was ready to answer the call.